So for today's video, I'm going to show you how to make inside slippers, and we're going to utilize used clothing. This actually helped me a lot during hard times. So enable for me and my family make both ends meet. I made inside slippers, and thanks God I have the skills. And without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first we must have patterns. You can pick up a size of your choice and trace it. And here we need used folder for sole. It will be a holder material. And by the way, the time I was making 100 or more pairs, I do the cuttings in one settings before I sit in front of my sewing machine to make my work easier and systematic. Okay, and since we're making two kinds, which is the closed and the open sleeper, we should have patterns for the lips, and this is for the closed one, and this is for the open one. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna cut cloth for the lips and the pair. We need to cut 4 pieces for the inside and outside. If you want your slippers to be warm, soft, and comfortable, choose the fleece or maybe the mink cloth. Okay, so there we are okay for the leaves. So we have to do a lot of cuttings here. Next is to cut the foam. For a pair of slipper, we need to cut 2 pieces of leaves and 2 pieces for the sole. And the foam, I bought it in a plywood size. Okay, so for a plywood size of foam, you can make 20 up to 25 pairs of slippers, depending on the sizes you're making. And now is the cutting of the bias. We should cut bias in slanting. Okay, so after doing a lot of cuttings, finally we're now set on sewing. If you're making a pair or two, then you can just hand sew it. But if you are making more than that, then we need to use a sewing machine. Mine is an old-fashioned one from my mother-in-law, so it is a foot-pedaled. So we're going to sew the bias into the lips and just watch how I do that. So there. So we have to sew the bias both for the open and the closed one. And then after which, we're going to make the sole. So we're done with the lips, and now we're going to sew the sole. Okay, so okay, so that it should be for the close one. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to connect the leaves to the saw. Okay, and so there. So I'm going to hand saw it. However, if you're professional enough to use the sewing machine in connecting it, then you can. For me, I'm going to hand saw it. Before I'm going to use the sewing machine and putting or in sewing the bias to the edge. So the next thing we're gonna do is to sew the bias on the edges of the slipper. Okay, so that must be the third to the last final. Okay, so I suppose we're going to end the part 1 here. It will take a lifetime for me doing the video, and it will take you to eternity watching it if we're going to finish now. I invite you to watch part 2 wherein I'm gonna add some short clips and videos for the actual sewing and the final touch, which is sticking the rubber mat for the soles. Probably I will also be using bilingual. Nakaka-nosebleed pala mag-English. So see you next video. Bye-bye.